Hi, my name is Arunima, and I was wanting to talk about karmic connections today. So, when you land on earth as a soul, you are given a certain body, okay? So, there are things related to you which form a part of your ego. You have a name, you have a family, you have a profession, you have a caste, community, everything. And we tend to identify ourselves with all these things, okay? So, I'm a woman, my name is Arunima Sinha. And just as I say that I'm an educator, TEDx speaker, and author, all these things are a part of my ego. These are just the things that, just like if you go to, if you're traveling somewhere, okay, so you're given a seat, you're also given other amenities to use at that point of time. Maybe you're also given food and other things to make you feel comfortable. But you don't become those things, right? You don't become, seat number 1A or something like that if you're going on a flight, right? You are just there for some time and then eventually you'll reach somewhere. So the same thing, we identify ourselves with all these things which actually are not a part of us at all: the name, the profession, the family. Why am I talking about all these things right now? Because to understand karmic connections, we need to understand all these things, that this is not permanent at all. Yes. So people who have, perceived, viewed, or undergone past life regression or just seen flashes of their past lives would know this more easily. How to understand that, okay, because you have experienced it through your senses. Like experientially, obviously, you understand things better. That, I, if I'm a woman in this lifetime, I could have been a man in the previous lifetime, right? So then you start understanding things like that, that okay, this is not permanent, and I could have played many roles. Just like William Shakespeare says, all the world's a stage, all men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. So to understand this now that you've understood that ego is not something which is permanent, in this lifetime you're behaving in this manner, in the previous lifetime you could have been different. When you understand this concept, then you will understand karmic connections much better. Now, when you are traveling to a certain place, there may be a certain person who's sitting beside you, okay, someone who's sitting ahead of you. Then there may be an air hostess or one of the assistants who's going to help you, okay. So we meet number of people on the journey. If you're going on a metro, if you find a seat to sit or someone offers you a seat to sit, someone helps you that way, someone allows you to move before you out of the gate. In the same manner, when we join a certain life, we meet a number of connections, okay. So they become connections then, or they have been there from the previous lifetimes, which means that, you know um, maybe on one of the metro rides, let's say if I'm going from my house to my college every day on the metro. So sometimes there are common people who are also going at the same times, and sometimes you start smiling at each other and you start understanding and knowing each other, okay, and then finally one day you say hello and you talk. So in the same manner, these things happen, that your connections which you have met across lifetimes meet you again. And that is why we say that there's an instant recognition even in the karmic connection. All those channels, all those people who are saying that there's an instant recognition between twin flames are absolutely just talking about a Bollywood story. That's not the truth. You may not recognize your twin flame in the first go. So, instant recognition can happen when you have met in the previous lifetimes. It can be about a soulmate, it can be about a karmic connection as well. So, who's a soulmate? Soulmate, like I've always wanted to describe this thing on the graph, on the graph, like you talk about zero and then the x axis and the x dash side. Okay, so the x dash side talks about all the negatives, the x side talks about all the positives. Zero is the center, which absolutely does not contribute in any way, but it is the center. So, zero you can think of as the soulmate. If you meet the soulmate, you will be happy, but there's no spiritual progress as such. Neither are you being pulled back, nor are you being, put ahead in the spiritual, journey. If you meet your twin flame, definitely you are going towards the x axis. It may seem like very difficult, but you are spiritually progressing. You will realize what you were perhaps like 2 months before meeting your twin flame. You're not that today. You're becoming, maybe life seems like very difficult. You have faced really the dark side of your own self, or the dark side of life, or you know people have not stayed with you, or things like that. These things may happen when the twin flame comes, but you will realize that you have become stronger. Okay, for the divine feminine, definitely the divine feminine changes 180-degree and she becomes a spiritual person. She may become a healer, she may become something. But for the divine masculine also, who may not want to explore this side, the abstract side, and I always say that people are too logical. They're so logical that they become illogical. Everything cannot be judged by logic. What is not seen does not necessarily be a non-existent entity. Air also cannot be seen, but air is there. Okay, so intuition also is there. There may be a spiritual guidance. We need to be open to that. So anyway, so the x-axis is towards the twin flame, and even though it's difficult, but you are progressing towards God, right? You are progressing towards your life purpose. You had come here to help people. What kind of help? Which ways were you supposed to be helping them? All those things are going to become clear to you, and you will be made humble. Okay, so that's about the positive side, and a little introduction to this was absolutely required to understand karmic connections now. Now, karmic connections is just the opposite. Karmic connections is the X dash, okay, all the negatives, because there are things that have happened in your previous lifetimes which you may have done purposely, which you may not have done purposely. Okay, why are you a handicap in this lifetime? Why did you have a divorce in this lifetime? Why did you have such bad in-laws in this lifetime? Why are you not getting success in this lifetime? All these questions can be answered very easily if you take a past life regression therapy. No, I'm not trying to advertise anyone's agency. Okay, I'm just saying that it becomes very easy to understand it experientially, to see that you were the person who has done something wrong to others. But you may not have purposefully done it to someone, but you may have made someone want it from you. Like, let's say one of the cases said that, this woman who, uh, faced a divorce in a lifetime, in a certain lifetime, and she had a karmic partner, and she was wondering that why was he so abusive? When she visited her past life, she saw that in the previous lifetime, she was the husband. Okay, and she was not at all interested in the wife, and when she was the husband, she did not take any interest in the wife, and she did not satisfy the wife's want as a wife. While being the husband, she was not a romantic and loving husband. So that soul, which was the wife in that lifetime, reincarnated as the husband in this lifetime and claimed absolute romantic relationship, and when the romance was done, it went on to abuse. It went on to abuse because it was a karmic connection. There's nothing like a soulmate connection between them. They are not twin flames. So of course, when he started realizing that, oh, we are not a vibrational match, the other soul was quite low vibrationally, but there was a karma between them. So karma is kind of a debt, So this soul, because this soul, actually this woman's soul, the woman in the present lifetime, she did not say no to the marriage, and she married and yet did not do things that are supposed to be done in the marriage, had to suffer this in her present lifetime. So she had to suffer a husband who became abusive. So maybe in the previous lifetime, the soul was actually wanting to satiate his or her desires, because the soul does not have a gender. So the soul wanted to satiate his or her desires, wanted to have children with this person. So it was done. In the same manner, there was another case in which the person was, handicapped, was on the wheelchair, and wanted to know that why did this happen to me? Why is life so harsh and cruel? So the fact was that in the previous lifetime, something that was done by this soul had created that problem in someone else's life, and a worse problem was created in someone else's life. An accident, or it was, I don't remember very well, but it was done purposefully by this person, or unconsciously, but the karma came onto this person. So that is what is a karmic connection. Something was left, some kind of a debt was left. So, not only am I going to talk about the karmic connections, but what are the signs of karmic connections and a few ways to heal the karmic connection. Now, you understand what is karmic connection, that, over the lifetimes, we have met so many people, and you may have had so many past lovers. You may have wanted to be with someone yourself in a past life. Those people can come up in your present life, especially if you are on a twin flame journey. All those people will come. They will come back to clear their karma, because you cannot get onto your twin flame without it. And it may be that, someone else would have wanted, or you would have wanted it with someone. So, those things are still remaining. Those unsatisfied, or wants are still there. And if you have created hurt or pain in someone's heart, those things will come back to you. So, how to identify these karmic connections? Now, people want to say in the very filmy manner that, you identify your twin flame in the very first go. Most of the times, it does not happen like that at all. But even in the karmic connections, if you have a karmic bond, then that person will come back into your life. And again, you will feel the same kind of thing, that, you have instant recognition. Of course, you have instant recognition because there is a soul contract, most likely, that I have to learn this lesson from you. I did this to you, so this has to come back to me. It's an understood thing between the souls. So then also you have an instant recognition. You feel like, oh, this person is good. You cannot actually clarify what is that emotion, but you feel that, this person. And when, our mind thinks that we know that person, we start feeling comfortable with that person most of the times, unless it's an extremely negative connection. So then you start talking to that person, and then the connection grows further. But how to identify the karmic connection? Very soon you will feel that your energy is being drained. Very soon. The problem is that we have been taught too much of patience. We have been taught that no, let's move ahead with this. Let's move ahead with this, and let's grow this connection further, and I'll manage to bring about a change in him or her. And those things do not happen. What you are in the beginning is what you are going to be towards the end, unless you are in a twin flame connection. And twin flame connection is supported by divine intervention as well. So anyway, even if you try to run away from the twin flame connection, those things will keep coming back to you. So the better thing is to be a little more liberated. And other ways to identify karmic connection is that the colors fade away, the excitement fades away very soon. Okay, and you need to see whether you are growing in a grounded manner or not. There may be a lot of physical intimacy, attraction towards the other person, physical attraction towards the other person. But please do ask, okay, when you feel drawn to that person, is it only physical attraction? If it is, and please, the biggest advice is to be very clear on this, to be very honest to yourself. If it is only physical attraction, cut off that connection. Start healing that connection. Because when it's only on the physical level, then it will obviously drain your energy. Getting physically involved with someone drains your energy further, especially when they are not a vibrational match to you at all. And anyways, so that may sound conventional to a few people, but it's always better not to share your physical energy with everyone. You must have only one, or that's the conventional thing. Again, it sounds like conventional, but it's also spiritual. Yeah. So you will feel drained. Happiness will end too soon, and you will not grow spiritually. You will not grow spiritually in the sense that things will seem difficult in your life. Difficult in the sense that maybe your career or other things, you're not able to be there 100%. That's the thing with karmic connections. Karmic connections will pose other levels of problems, and you will not be really happy and mentally satisfied. You will feel a spiritual urge still. You are not gaining that peace. There is restlessness. So that is towards the X-dash axis. When you get to the soulmate level, you feel fulfilled. You feel very happy. Okay. You feel that, you can do other things also. You may grow in your career, or, your relationship becomes better. You may want to commit to each other. And and in the soulmate relationship, actually, both of them will want to commit. While in the karmic connection, at least one of them will see that, this is not going to work. At least one of them will be clear about it. Maybe both of them are clear. But because there's a contract, maybe both of them are committing. So you can be wise enough to drop it that time itself. In a twin flame connection, there is an unexplained level of magnetic attraction. Okay, you just cannot get over this person. There is kind of addiction level of attraction that you have, that may go down as you spiritually grow, through healing and through mirror exercise is absolutely the best exercise ever. And but coming back to karmic connection, how to heal this connection, there are a number of ways, and number of ways cannot be discussed. I can just name them because I don't want this to be even longer. So the first way of doing that is obviously ho'oponopono technique. Ho'oponopono, you can obviously, you can go and search for it on YouTube. Maybe I'll make another podcast about it. It's a magical technique. Ho'oponopono is a forgiveness prayer where you say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. It believes that we are all the part of the same energy. Consequently, everyone is a part of God, and we are also a part of God. So we are the same energy. Okay, so you can always say thank you to the other person. You can say that I love you so much, and then you can ask for forgiveness and forgive them yourself. Okay, so that heals the connection. As easy as it sounds, as simple as it sounds, this is magical. I lost my toothache, which was 6 year old, in just 1 month and a few days, because I was doing it regularly. Big part of Ho'oponopono is that you must have faith that it is working. Exactly. Energy healing, all of them, you need to believe that it's working. Only then will it work. Okay. If you always, did it make a difference to it or not? If you keep thinking like that, it will not work. Second way of healing your karmic connection is Reiki. If you've done Reiki second level, the symbols actually help it big time. Some of you may realize at this point in time, oh God, I have a lot of karmic baggage, and you see, I'm a Reiki channel. Okay, so Reiki helps that big time. Reiki helps in all these three connections. Karmic connection, it helps big time, and it also helps twin flame connection. Yeah, and apart from all these things, one of the religious things that I would want to talk about is doing the Sundarkand for 40 days. Yes, I know it sounds quite impossible. Even for me, it takes me like more than 40 minutes, 42 minutes. It takes me at one go. Normally, for people, it takes sometimes 1 hour, 1.5 hours to read the text, because the language is not something that we speak. But 40 days of regular reading of it with enough trust and faith, and being in the surrender mode, it brings about a huge drastic change in your karmic connections. So these are the three things that you can do to heal the karmic connection. We'll talk about more of them in the next podcast, probably, which I'll make on Ho'oponopono. Thank you so much. Signing off, Arunima.